This is our presentation on Attorney General James McMahon. Here's why you should vote for James McMahon.
There are many great reasons why you should vote for James McMahon. Here are some reasons. He had a very good and formal education. He attended Cape Cod Community College, Southeastern Massachusetts University, Suffolk Law School, and Massachusetts Military Academy. So you can say he is very skilled. He's practiced law for 30 years and been attorney at law since 1988.
James McMahon won the Republican nomination last month after beating Dan Shores of Hingham in the primary election. A lifelong resident of Cape Cod with more than 30 years of combined legal, law enforcement, and military experience, Jay is the most qualified to run the Attorney General office efficiently and effectively.
You should pick James McMahon over Maura Haley because she's encouraging bringing 3D printed firearms into federal buildings, schools, courthouses, and national parks. Would you want your kid to go to a school knowing that the teachers have guns? Another controversial idea that Haley wants is to make more abortion centers. Even though this could be a good idea, it'll also make abortion more popular, which will make questioning abortion less popular. And let's be honest, are you going to vote for someone that admitted, quote, "It's probably pretty clear that I'm not the NRA's favorite candidate in this race," and was sued 3 times by the NRA.
McMahon believes that the government policies about gun control barely reduces violence, and if we want to do something about it, we should take guns out of hands of law-abiding owners and sellers. He also believes that Massachusetts needs a better approach to the drug outbreak, which is killing an average of 3 or more people in the beginning of 2018.
She's soft on crime, said McMahon, saying the state streets are flowing with cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl.
Republican James McMahon says she's not doing enough to combat the epidemic and accused her of letting drug dealers get the upper hand.
Make sure to vote for James McMahon.
Elizabeth Warren is running for state senator. We are supporting her in her race for her amazing layout of her plans with the state. She plans on building an economy for the people, and she wants equality for Massachusetts. Vote Warren on November 6th.
Elizabeth Warren has many opinions on equality and building an economy for everyone. She stands for the Democratic Party and also stands for anti-gambling. She voted a bill for $700 billion in defense funds and an additional $60 billion for military operations in countries such as Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Vote for Elizabeth Warren.
Don't vote Republican. The Republican Party has many flaws in their ideas about our state. They pay their way into the position that they are running for. They pay for votes. They also have negative attitudes towards LGBT and gay marriage. Vote equality. Vote Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren has many great ideas for our state. She has tons of political courage and is not afraid to speak her mind. She supports equality, LGBTQ, and is for gay marriage.
Your vote counts. Vote Democrat. Vote Elizabeth Warren on November 6th.
Vote for the first female Senate, Elizabeth Warren.
Hi, I'm Jeff Deal. I'm running for state representative, but the only thing that matters is you. The future depends on your votes.
Jeff saved Mass residents from paying billions of dollars in extended taxes.
During his time in office, Jeff has led the fight for more transparency and accountability at the State House. He has worked to increase jobs and send more local aid to cities and towns.
In 2014, Jeff stopped a $2 billion gas tax. His group collected 146,000 signatures to stop the tax. Within the same year, he stopped tax lawmakers from raising their pay by 75%.
Here's some bad stuff about Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren used to be a former Republican, but now she's a Democrat because she wasn't good enough.
She also thinks that all police officers are racist, front to back.
She also stated that Trump was Twitter business, which means that he's all talk on Twitter, but then she goes and tweets about Trump being a creepy dude. Twitter business much?
And then, she also supports open borders and drugs.
And that's why you should vote for Jeff Deal.
Hello and welcome to the I Don't Know show. I'll be assessing who I'm going to be voting for the Massachusetts Attorney General. The candidates for this campaign is Maura Healey and James M. So I don't know who I'm going to vote for. So let's get started. Okay friends, right now we are at the hallway of awesomeness, where you can vote for who you want. We have 2 voters to the right of us who are going to be voting for Maura Healey. We're going to interview them separately. Hello, and what is your name, voter?
My name's Cameron. I'm a Democrat. Maura Healey is part of the Democratic Party, and she has been the Massachusetts Attorney General before. She graduated from Harvard with a bachelor's degree, and then graduated from Northeastern University with her Juris degree. And I think she best suits the job.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't vote for James?
Well, James is a good person, but he hasn't been Attorney General before, when Maura Healey has. That means she has the most experience.
Alright guys, so we have our next voter, and what is your name?
Hello, my name is Amanda, and I know Maura Healey is the best for this job.
And what makes you think she is best for this job?
Well, Maura Healey has already been involved with the Senate before, so she'll fit right in. Maura Healey has some great plans to help keep our law as clean as possible too. She wants to legally ban 3D printed guns so younger kids don't get influenced, and she wants to reduce all unhealthy drug consumption. When Maura Healey's son was at a graduation party, he got drugged by some kids who thought it would be funny. He was later in the hospital fighting for his life, so we know we can trust her with that situation. James McMahon isn't bad, but his campaign doesn't focus on himself. It only focuses on little reasons why Maura shouldn't get the job. Also, he's a Republican while I'm a Democrat.
Thank you, Amanda. I might know who I want to vote for a little bit now. Oh, we are rolling. Well, that's just great. We have two special guests show up. First up, this is someone who is helping out with Maura Healey's campaign.
Okay, let's get to business. Maura Healey is for sure best for this job. She always puts others before herself, and even puts the environment before herself too. She believes that our environment standards are high enough, and always trying to help with the pollution laws and much more. She also believes that laws for school are in good terms, but is trying her best to keep the Massachusetts record of the highest school education rate. She believes school safety need more work, and it's one of her number one priorities. Maura Healey has been planning and working on helping lower student loan and workers' loan cost. During Maura Healey's reign of Massachusetts Attorney Governor, she created something called the Community Engagement Division. This brings the Attorney General's office to the community and neighborhoods in the state. I know Maura Healey is best for this job. Vote for Healey.
Our next special guest is the one herself, Maura Healey.
Hello, I'm Attorney General Maura Healey. Right now I'm currently the Massachusetts Attorney General, a chief lawyer, and a law enforcement leader for the state of Massachusetts.
Wow, that's great. Why do you want to be the Massachusetts Attorney General?
I've been the Attorney General before, so I have the experience. And I've also gone to college for law. But there's been a lot of events that have influenced me to take this path. The law has always had its issues and flaws, so why not fix it myself, so I can help our state as a whole?
I love those reasons. Well, thank you for coming today to talk to us. Thank you for watching the I Don't Know show. But guess what? I know who I'm going to be voting for. I'm voting for Maura Healey. She has done such a good job for our state in such a small amount of time. So thank you, Maura Healey.
Vote for Maura! Vote for Maura!
On the November 2018 election, Massachusetts, the third ballot question is about whether to let people discriminate against transgenders in public.
Many people say that this law should not be repealed because it is definitely wrong to discriminate people because of their gender. But as it turns out, not too many people are also kind.
Some people are afraid that this law will allow transgenders to get into men's or women's bathrooms, even if they're a registered sex offender. So on November 6th,
vote no on 3.
Vote yes on question 1. Question 1 would limit how many patients to a nurse could be assigned at one time. Depending on the patient's condition, it will affect the number of patients to a nurse.
If the number of patients is too much for the nurse, it could lead to wrong medications and sloppy caretaking. If we limit the number of patients per nurse, the nurses will be able to do their job 100 times better, and who doesn't want our nurses doing a better job? A yes vote will make safer patient limits. This will make the nurses' workload safer and better. Nurses are also saying yes to question 1. Question 1 will put safe maximum limits in place for the number of patients that can be assigned to a nurse at one time.
According to Boston.com, a survey was conducted by the Nurses Union in April, and 77% of nurses in Massachusetts said they were being assigned too many patients. On average, they are being assigned 6 to 8 patients. How can nurses keep us safe and healthy if they're overworked? the campaigns that are saying vote no are saying that because with less patients, they will have open beds and they will lose money. But California has this law and they are doing fine.
Senator Elizabeth Warren supports question 1. She said nurses work hard to take care of all of us when it matters the most, and we should do the same for them by establishing standards to ensure they have the help they need to do their job safely. Warren said in the statement last month, "I stand with our nurses and support a yes vote on question 1 in November. The hospital industries want them to make this a money problem, but it is only a safety problem. Don't believe the greedy companies. Make the right choice and vote yes on question 1."
Massachusetts ballot question 2 is an initiative to create an advisory commission for amendments to the U.S. Constitution regarding corporate personhood and political spending. Is on the ballot in Massachusetts as an indirect initiated state statute on November 6th. If we vote yes, we are compromising our First Amendment, also known as the freedom of speech, and that is the bedrock of our nation and should be preserved. So I vote no on question 2. Why would we eradicate existing laws that could lead to a power vacuum of loopholes no one can fill? Some want to vote yes for the fact that big corporations in the political system have displeased the agitated crowd, but it is a colossal change. What we really need by voting yes, you are producing a 15-member citizen commission to revise history. Should we be able to interpret our history our way, or let the Founding Fathers guideline that made America what it is today?
Some say that a corporation is not a human, so it shouldn't have to abide by rules. That is like saying a school isn't a person, so everyone in it can go without consequences. And if that were to become a reality, it would turn out to be very dreadful. Voting no protects our freedom of speech. You're able to hear different opinions and different viewpoints because of the unrestricted corporate spendings. If corporate spendings were used, they would be biased and have more people lead to a certain side, yes or no. Voting no would not create a commission. Nothing would change. Changing or adding an amendment could really threaten and put our democracy in danger, and freedom of speech is really essential for the U.S.'s democracy.
Voting no on question 2 would impact the Citizens United ruling of the state's ability to regulate entities and corporations. It would create a Citizens Commission composed of 15 members. The commission would propose amendments to the U.S. Constitution, specifically regarding Citizens United and defining constitutional rights as belonging to individual living human beings, not artificial entities or collection of human beings. Lower education and political spending have very little legal ability of the state. We would be voting for amendments and constitutional rights, so if there was a large group of people who had the same goal, they could overthrow our smaller populations. The rule would take place on January 1st, 2019, and our first report would be on December 1st, almost a year late. If we vote no, we are stabilizing our government and keeping the peace.
Vote yes on ballot question 1.
The ballot question 2 would create a citizens commission to push a constitutional amendment to overturn the Citizens United v. FEC Supreme Court decision on campaign finance. If you do, then 15 Massachusetts citizens will come together to try and amend the U.S. Constitution and make a new 28th Amendment in a citizens commission. This would try and make an amendment that would overturn the Citizens United. There may be the downside of a liability in the government. There has to be 38 states that agree with the citizens' ideas. The citizens aren't a part of the government, are more of a group of people who come up with ideas and research the current campaign finance system. But like I said, they have to have 38 out of 50 states to agree to do anything.
Another point, who wants corporate money messing with their votes? Corporations should not be allowed to influence elections because they can sway the outcome of the election. Also, money is not speech, so if they
want to influence, they have to say it, not spend it. A valid question will give corporations different rights than the average human citizen. Vote yes on 2 if you do it. Will improve our government and stop corporation money for influencing politics.
Question 3 is public transgender rights. If this law stays intact, transgender people can use their new identity restrooms, locker rooms, etc. This law passed in 2016, but there are some people who want to repeal it. The yes and no on this question are backwards, so pay close attention. A yes vote will keep this law intact, and this will allow transgender people to use their new restrooms and locker rooms. A no vote will repeal this law and will not allow transgender people their new identity restroom and locker rooms. Since this law has been approved, there have been no cases of harassment from transgender people. Now imagine transgender people getting their rights taken away. It's really depressing now that they work so hard to be who they want to be, and now people like us are taking their rights away from them.
Why do we want you to vote yes? Well, if this law does not pass, it'll be discriminating transgender people. They're still human beings just like us, so it's not really fair for them to be treated less because of their change in gender. The government has already passed this law in 2016. Imagine all the transgender people finally having rights. It's kind of like getting a Christmas present you've always wanted. What would be the outcome of this law? The outcome would be that the law would still be intact, which would allow transgender people to not be discriminated and have equal rights like everyone else.
Vote no for question 1. If question 1 is voted for, it will set a limit for nurses and the patients they can have at a time. That will lead to the patient getting more sick because they're waiting for the nurses.
Hospitals will have to get more nurses if people say yes to question 1. And with more nurses, it will become crowded.
If you vote yes for question 1, you might develop the people in the waiting room sickness or disease because of how long the waiting time is. If you vote yes, many people may die because they might not get the help they need in the time they need it.
Anthony Moore has been nominated twice for a Service America Award medal and has received numerous awards.
You should vote for Anthony Moore because he is a good leader and can secure the polls. Anthony Moore can keep us safe with his background of security and public safety.
Vote for someone who doesn't blame you for every government mistake. When you vote a Moore, we believe in government accountability. So vote a Moore. Woo!
You should vote for Anthony Moore because I really like him and you will too.
Vote for Anthony Moore so you don't cry anymore.
Jay Gonzalez was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. And after graduating Dartmouth College and Georgetown Law School, he worked at a law firm in Cleveland.
Jay Gonzalez also said, "I'm running for governor because Massachusetts has always been a leader, and I want us to lead again. I want to offer an ambitious agenda, and I have the leadership experience in the public and private sectors to deliver on it."
Jay Gonzalez wants to ban assault rifles and weapon silencers. He also wants to prevent anything like weapon improvements.
Jay Gonzalez said it is time that we have a governor who stands up for everyone and knows that discrimination won't happen.
Vote for Bill!
William Galvin is already our Secretary of State, so he knows what he's doing. And he wants to preserve the historical records of Massachusetts. He once said that the history of Massachusetts is the history of America. Vote William F. Galvin for Secretary of State to keep Massachusetts great on November 6th.
Vote for Billy or you'll be silly.
Vote William Galvin for Secretary of State
on November 6th.
Vote for Bill
for honest elections.
If you're chill,
you'll vote for Bill
on November 6th
for Secretary of State.
Here's why you should vote for Charlie Baker.
Governor Baker worked to close budget gaps of up to $2 billion.
Charlie Baker provides funding for the Department of Children and Families.
Charlie Baker focuses on funding businesses and education, and more.
Charlie Baker will invest in education funding.
Charlie Baker makes Massachusetts a great place to live, work, and raise a family.
On October 10th, 2018, Baker had a job approval rating of 70%, being the highest rating of any governor in the U.S.
Charlie Baker gave tax relief to 400,000 hard-working individual families.
Vote for Charlie Baker November 6th!
What are the Register of Deeds? The Register of Deeds are maintained by a local government official. They are in control of the crossing of property. They record and the transferring of land from person to person.
Kate Campanelli is a very successful young woman. She has an educated background in economics and business management.
Kate was born in Worcester and is now a resident of Leicester. Kate Campanelli attended Sweetbriar College in Virginia. She is 30 years old.
She accomplished many things like municipal police training bill, which added language to Governor Baker's crime bill. She promoted student loan repayment, and she was a sensational community outreach, working productively in the community.
Why she should be elected? She should be elected because she is a perfect fit for this position. She has a background in education and business management. She's very organized, and she has been involved in politics long before she was a state representative. She will work hard to do what the people of the district want, and she said that her #1 priority is to help the local economy, so that's why you should vote for her.
Vote Kate Campanelli!
Vote Ryan Fatman for state senate.
Ryan Fatman has done many things. He has served in the Senate for 2 terms or 4 years. He has also served as a Sutton Selectman and state representative.
Ryan Fatman also got an amendment added called the Brave Act. The Brave Act states that veterans can get time off on Memorial Day and Veterans Day.
He worked with Democratic legislators to amend the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. This act allows women with small children to take time off of work for any child's serious medical condition.
Ryan Fatman has a 100% voting record. This means he votes on all issues. He is able to.
He spoke at the last National Junior Honor Society induction.
Mr. Fatman has attended 841 events in the last 2 years. He also attended the legislator meetings.
He has brought state aid to local communities.
$2.5 million of Mass Works grant to Oxford to fix Route 12.
$1.7 million to Uxbridge for water infrastructure.
$200,000 to Milford to address the opioid crisis.
Mr. Fatman has personally knocked on 8,000 doors for his campaign.
Vote Ryan Fatman for State Senate, November 6th.
Vote Mike Soder. He protects taxpayers, ensures strong school funding, and supports public safety. Mike Soder also put towards $3.6 million with no tax, as well as $1.76 million in state funding for much-needed safety on Route 140. Mike also put $6.8 million towards police stations that were built on time and under budget. As stated on his website, Mike Soder, Republican, is continuing an impactful 7-year career on the Board of Selectmen for the town of Bellingham, serving as the board's chairman for the past 3 years. In addition to a significant experience in local politics, Mike also has built a solid foundation as a successful businessman.
Mike Soder is a staple of his community, making sure that everyone's voices are being heard. One of his main focuses is helping our seniors. Much of his success can be attributed to caring for his community and his drive to represent them properly. He's visited senior centers, he's signed the community compact, he's presented a grant to the Blackstone Boys and Girls Club, and advocating for public safety, and he's trying to end gender-based violence. Pat Malone is a very young and naive man who is 22 years old, is not responsible, and does not have work yet. Vote Mike Soder.
Hey Kenzie, what are you doing?
I'm voting for my next state senator.
Who will that be?
Tom Maroli.
Well, did you know that Tom Maroli is a government worker and activist and a proud resident of Mendon, Massachusetts? He is running for the position of state senate as a Democrat and for the districts of Worcester and Norfolk. He has tons of experience in the governmental positions, and as stated in the article, he currently serves as an assistant treasurer of Mendon and chair of the Economic Development Committee. Tom holds a degree in political science from Westfield State University, a local college, and is proud to be an Eagle Scout. He knows what it's like to be in this area, and he has seen the faults in the system and wants to change them. He wishes for everyone to be equal and have the same abilities.
Did you hear what he said? Tom said himself, "I'm a young person who has been active in community affairs from a very early age. I see the ways in which interests of our people have been way overlooked for far too long." Also, Tom Maroli respects equality in marriage and hopes to fight for environmental protection, working families, civil rights, and to make our region a better place. Seems like the best candidate to me.
Oh wow, I'm voting for Tom Maroli as well.
That's so interesting.
Wow. Tom wants to update the education system and the costs. Also, he wants to find a solution to the issues of contaminated water and the opioid crisis. He has stated, "My main goal is to improve the education system. More money should be provided to schools through the state's Chapter 70 program to cover transportation and special education program costs. I'd like to bring the people of this district back to the forefront. We have many issues facing us. A school funding formula that hasn't been updated since 1993, towns in our district that have issues getting clean water, and an opioid crisis which has been growing on our very doorstep.
Tom has also said the inequality in how our educational system is funded. Central Massachusetts does not get its fair share in terms of state aid. We need to update the 25-year-old school funding formula, adjusting the amount that accumulated for special needs costs, health insurance costs, English language learning costs, and transportation costs.
When asked what the major difference between him and his opponent, Ryan Fatman, was that Fatman focuses more on national issues than ones that will affect the district. Those important issues include educational funding, water infrastructure, environmental concerns, and healthcare costs. What a pity to ever who votes for him.
What's worse, being in this country illegally or assault? According to Ryan Fatman, it's the first one. To directly quote him, "My thought is that if someone is here legally, they should be afraid to come forward. If you do it the right way, you don't have to be concerned about these things. This is only encouraging those who would commit such atrocities with no fear of repercussion on their end." And to quote Republic Insanity Tumblr, Fatman's voting record, meanwhile, is one of the most progressive in his state, as he voted against attempts by the legislature to keep firearms out of the hands of the mentally ill, voted against measures to keep abortion clinic protesters a safe distance from a clinic so that employees and patients could safely get in and out of them, and in an area of our country's greatest income inequality in almost a century, has voted against minimum wage increases not once, but twice. Fatman also took the bold stance with 3 other Republicans to vote against a prohibition in Massachusetts on discrimination as relates to gender identity in 2016.
Tom O'Reilly has our vote, so you should take some notes.
Tom O'Reilly, he's the man of his people.
As you all know, there's an election coming up on November 6th. For state representatives, I can say with 100% confidence that you should be voting for Pat Malone.
Some really good advantages of Pat Malone is he has a good and fresh set of eyes. This means he knows exactly what is going on and exactly what we need. Since he is only 22, you might think this is a really young age, but for us in our age group, he is exactly what we need.
In fact, Pat Malone is from this area. By coming from this area, he can help us a lot and has very much potential. He knows how to improve our town, and that is also something good to look for. He's the perfect state representative.
One good point that Pat Malone makes is that he states, "I am dedicated to tackling the problems our community faces with pollution, school funding, and aging infrastructure with common sense, new ideas, and a commitment to the people of these communities and their priorities. He is committed to helping us all in everything we need and all the things we can improve." Malone is proposing many things like giving Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection the tools they need to do their job. That association can't do their job without the materials they need, and he's proposing that he will provide it to them.
He also states, small central Massachusetts are especially hard hit by an outdated school funding formula and the Commonwealth's broken promises on fully funding regional transportation. This has had serious consequences for the communities and taxpayers in the 8th Worcester County. It's time to elect someone who will fight for the long-needed school funding reforms. He is right. It is time for the people to elect someone who will make a change in school fundings.
He also states that less than half a cent on every dollar in the Commonwealth is spent on protecting our environment and, by extension, our health and natural resources. It's time to start taking residents' concerns about their environment and drinking water seriously, and give the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection the tools they need to do their job. Again, he's stating things about helping people. He wants everyone to be pleased, and that is something very important in a state rep. He is promising people things that we actually need.
Another good point that Pat Malone makes is, "I will chase down grants and funding for infrastructure improvement, expansion, and maintenance." He is telling us that he will not take no for an answer in getting grants to be able to fund infrastructure improvement.
Some flaws in Michael Soter is that he wants to help a lot of seniors, while Pat Malone wants to help everyone that he possibly can and keep them healthy and safe at all times. Malone will do the best he possibly can to do the best for us. This proves a point. Pat Malone is the obvious choice for state representative.
Pat Malone, state
Rep.
2018.
Vote Pat Malone.
On November 6th, vote for Republican Kevin Quiros for Register of Deeds.
He has 20 years in management consulting. He also has 11 years in real estate. He also has real-world experience with business improvement.
What he will change: he will update the registry website, he will improve scheduling, and make real estate transactions easier and quicker.
Why should you vote for Kevin Quiros? He knows how to stay well prepared and organized, he's prioritizing local aid in the economy, and he has lots of experience. Why wouldn't you vote for Kevin Quiros?
Wait, do you count the bad parts?
I don't even, okay.
Pat Malone is a very young and naive man.
And this is some bad stuff Vote for Bill.
For honest elections. Governor Baker.
Hey!
Oh.
All right. Like, how loud should I speak?
The senior center.
Oh, a volcano in the back.
Why a volcano?
Because volcanoes are cool. Can we have a crowd behind us, like a crowd standing behind us?
I forgot. Wait, hold on. Hold on. No, I forgot what.
Provides.
Oh no, extra pressure.
What? Because I keep forgetting what I'm saying.
You should vote for Anthony Moore because I really like him and you will too.
Massachusetts is a great place to live.
Ryan Fitman has served.
Vote Ryan Fetman for
Ryan?
state senate.
I'm trying not to laugh.
Paying extended taxes. I can't say taxes.
Vote for Bill!
Vote
King Captain Ollie.
I think that was good.
Thank you for voting.
Bobblehead.
Vote for Mara!
Vote for Mara!
That's all I say.
Vote, 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 vote!